I don't think he ever met a challenge that was unsurmountable in his mind.
Dirk Kempthorne started his political career early, serving as student body president in high school in San Bernardino, California. At University of Idaho, he again ran for student body president, campaigning at each of the school's dorms, fraternities, and sororities. While campaigning, he met his future wife, Patricia. After graduating in 1975 with a degree in political science, Kempthorne spent time in both the public and private sectors before declaring his candidacy for Boise Mayor in 1985 at just 33 years old. He won that November after a door-knocking campaign that focused on economic development.
For 20 years, downtown had just been this wasteland of gravel parking lots. He had a vision of a way that the city could work, and he had a way of bringing everyone into that vision. Gradually, buildings were built, businesses came back, restaurants opened.
In 1992, Mayor Kempthorne threw his hat in the ring for the open U.S. Senate seat after Senator Steve Sims announced his retirement.
Mayor was not going to be the end-all for him. There was much more to come because he had so much potential. And I think it was just a natural transition for him to say, okay, we've had this impact at the local level. Let's go do some more good things on a national scale.
I come here as a mayor running for the United States Senate from a state as proud of our computer chips as we are our Idaho potato chips.
He was pretty much nonpartisan as mayor. And I think that when he ran for the U.S. Senate, a lot of people were surprised when there were partisan messages in his campaign, and they were pretty partisan. He was a fairly conservative Republican.
America should always light the way to freedom and shine with the principles of individual initiative and self-worth, family values, free enterprise, and private property rights.
After 10 debates, he defeated Democratic Congressman Richard Stallings in the general election.
He was a popular senator.
One of the very first things that he did back in Washington, D.C. was go around and visit 99 other senators. That was uncommon, but it was so Dirk Kempthorne-esque. He was told, you're a freshman, you're number 100 in seniority, bide your time. That was never his intention in running for the United States Senate. He wanted to go and make a difference.
At issue today is nothing less than the well-being of the cities, the counties, the schools, and the states. Unfunded mandates are just one more straw on the backs of our communities, the very communities that Congress is trying to help.
Ultimately, Senator Bob Dole agreed with that idea enough that it was Senate Bill 1 and ultimately was signed into law.
The important thing is that Senator Kempthorne has been able to stick with it long enough to get it done.
Nice to see you.
Thank you. It's nice to see you.
How does it feel to be the father of this new law?
It feels tremendous.
He was a gifted politician. He remembered people's names. He asked about their families.
I remember pulling into Preston, Idaho with him, and I was so proud of myself because I knew the mayor's name, and I knew the mayor's wife's name, and I knew the mayor's kids' names. But then he said, but the dog's name is, and he knew the dog's name.
After one term in the Senate, Kempthorne decided to return to Idaho and run for governor.
That was not an easy decision for him to make. It's one that he put a lot of prayer and consideration into, and visiting with Patricia and his family.
And how long have you been in Washington with your husband as a senator?
A little less than 2 years.
And is it what you expected when you came?
I didn't know what to expect.
It was a surprising decision from, the conventional wisdom as to what a politician would do. But it fit for him.
I, Dirk Arthur Kempthorne, do solemnly swear.
When he came in, he had never been a legislator. And there were things that he proposed that just fell flat.
We were looking forward to your message. We will consider it seriously, and we welcome you to this joint session. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
And the legislators were like, we're not doing that.
You were quite upset by this vote, and you issued a statement saying it simply defies logic. and that the lawmakers showed a lack of vision. It was a very strongly worded statement.
Intended to be.
Then in later years, he found other ways to bring those issues that he cared so deeply about to the legislature and to accomplish them and to get his legislation through.
I sure know how to use the veto stamp. There are times that you just have to. It sends the clearest of signals.
That tension bubbled over during a fight over transportation funding in the 2005 legislative session.
The roads in our state were not safe. Lives were being lost. The thought of a mom or a dad not coming home to their children because our roads weren't safe was just untenable for him. In Idaho, the approach to funding roads and bridges and maintenance and repair had been, for many, many years, pay as you go. The deferred maintenance costs were just going up and up and up, and the deferred maintenance list was expanding and expanding. So looking at all of that, and again, this emphasis on safety and families, what else could we do? And so we looked at the Garvey program, which was an opportunity to take future revenue streams today so that you could build the infrastructure. That would then provide the framework for additional growth, which would create a tax base and pay off those bonds over time. It was something new. It required a seismic shift in the philosophical thinking of both legislators as well as the bureaucracy. They'd never been asked to look at something like this before.
Senator Brad Little expressed that it's kind of like a blank check. He's concerned. He wants to see firm numbers put into this bill.
Weeks later, after a stalemate on negotiations, Kempthorne invited the media to his office as he issued a now iconic series of vetoes.
I'm willing to stay as long as it takes. This may be a very long session, folks. So with that, I will take care of some of these House bills.
Ultimately, the governor won the showdown.
Today, when you drive around the state of Idaho, you have divided highways in eastern Idaho and on Highway 95 going north. I can't imagine what it would be like to be living in the Treasure Valley today with 2 lanes on I-84 going east and west. That vision was necessary to accommodate the realities of today.
In 2006, near the end of the governor's second term, President George W. Bush nominated Kempthorne to be his Interior Secretary.
Dirk Kempthorne is uniquely qualified for this important position. He is the first Secretary of the Interior to serve as a governor, a senator, and a mayor. And in each of these positions prepared Dirk well for his new responsibilities.
I come from Idaho, home to spectacular scenery. There's no more beautiful cathedral than the outdoors. America the Beautiful is blessed with countless natural cathedrals that deserve our preservation.
I think he had had a strong track record of protecting the environment. As mayor, he called himself a pro-business environmentalist. He wants people to go out and hunt and fish and hike and kayak and do all of those things out in nature that we love to do here in Idaho. But to support that, you have to have a strong business base. And I think, again, being a good steward of the public's lands resonated with the Bush administration.
But part of what made Kempthorne so remarkable and effective was his ability to connect with others.
Over the course of his political career, everyone who he touched remembered him and he remembered them.
He could observe things. He looked outwardly. His whole intent was to understand them and then offer whatever help or assistance that he could.
He just had a way of connecting with people. When he was talking to you, you kind of felt like the most important person in the world. It was uncanny.
Whenever we had a victory and had worked hard on something and it had gone well, we'd get a little yellow sticky note on our desk and it said, "Good job, buddy." And, I laughed about it and I thought, gee, that's kind of silly. But today I look back and to be told by him, "Good job, buddy," when you have thousands and thousands of Idahoans and millions of Americans who today are saying, "Good job, buddy," that meant a lot.